We are breaking down episode 7, the penultimate episode of Dark Wind season 3. Welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. I'm Diana. Renee is here. Hi, Renee. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing very well. Excited about this episode. How are you?
I'm doing great. There is so many good shows and movies out. I can't wait to share them later on after we talk about Dark Wind. So, friends out there, stay tuned. We're going to get there. But right now, we are going to talk about episode 7. I just can't believe the finale is next week. I told my husband, I'm like, oh, the finale's next week. He's like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, yeah, it's going to end. So there's so much to talk about. And with that, the question of the day that I want to pose to you, Renee, and to everyone out there, what's your bold prediction for the finale? Okay. Think about it, Renee. I'll think about it, and then we'll get back to it. We'll talk about it later on in the episode. All right. So, oh man, being the penultimate episode, so much happened. What was your overall thought on this episode, Renee?
Lots of information was revealed. We got lots of finally, we kept saying we got more questions. Well, now we're getting answers finally. So that was good. I love, Joe's not letting his injuries get him down. He's bounced right back into action and taking charge. And, Chee's right there in the thick of things. We've been talking about, he's been kind of kind of in the background. He's there, but he's not, but this, episode, he really got into everything. So we're excited to see that. We had to watch Emma and all her heartbreak. It's just, that's so emotional. Yeah, Bernadette got betrayed. And then we ended with a cliffhanger. This episode was just full of action and exciting things.
I know. I loved how, like you said, we got some answers that we were waiting for. And so I'm glad. And then it was kind of a shift of such. And then there was some like, aha, I knew it moments. But I do want to mention the opening because I thought it was really exciting to see Chee driving up. And then I'm thinking, why does he have a horse trailer on the back? Why is he carrying this as he's working? And then it made sense because he has to take his horse out and go galloping along to go help Joe. I have to say that feeling, the music and watching him, I don't even know what it felt like. All I know is I loved it. Like that was it. I'm like, this is so cool watching Chee gallop in New Mexico, Navajo territory. I thought this is a great way to begin this episode. All of the music that played throughout this and all of the scenery that we saw was just incredible. And I like that we were reminded of where they're at and what it looks like and all of the terrain. And I loved it when Chee finally does come upon Joe and Joe is hurt and he's trying to help him. And he says, go get him. That's an order because he just wants that guy caught. So I thought it was a great opening. So what highlights stuck out to you in this?
Well, the biggest one is Reynolds. That's what we've been waiting for. Dr. Reynolds, we've been trying to figure out where he fits into this. And we knew something unsavory was going on, but his dig is a scam. He's planting the stuff to prove that the Folsom tribe is there and they're not, or, they're not finding the evidence. And so he plants that, but then that leads to, this is where the boys tie in. We kept wondering, okay, so they worked for him, but what's all this? And so that was to me, those were all just huge reveals because that's a big piece that we've been waiting to find out what's going on. And so the boys discover his, fraudulent escapades. And then unfortunately, Ernesto is silenced for learning that, and which now has George fleeing to Reno so he can stay safe because he was there also. And I really enjoyed that they showed that whole story, that little clip to show us what happened right now, instead of just hearing about it. It was, it was a lot more impactful, I think, to see it on screen. And so, I think that was for me, that was the biggest highlight.
Yes, I agree because we wanted to know, we knew it was a man because that was revealed at the last moments of the previous episode. So now we get to see who the man is. And, we guessed it was probably him, but we had to see why we didn't know why
Yeah.
it was him. And now all the pieces came together, and I love seeing the investigation of all that between Joe and Chee and figuring it out. Of course, Chee is really good in all of this, but I mean, Joe is
Mhm.
like so good at
Mhm.
just piecing things together and understanding it, and just looking through the coal of what George was burning and putting
Mhm.
those together, and just really thinking. And it just shows why he is who he is and the role he plays in this.
Mhm.
So it was really good to finally know that, and also know that there's two separate things happening here, right? They're not related. I loved how he said, I think it was Debaka or Budge who
Mhm.
killed Halsey, because why wouldn't they have just killed me? It was different. Something was different about it. And I just like that he went with his gut, and then we figured out that's two different stories
Mhm.
happening here, two different people handling two different corrupt things that they're
Yeah.
doing, at the same time. So
Mhm.
I'm still curious, though, how Halsey must be a part of Spencer's group, but we haven't really tied it in too much as to what they're doing here in New Mexico. Like
Yeah, because they're definitely far from all that going on. But we know that I mean, he obviously, because who did he call before?
Budge, he called Budge.
Yeah, that's right. He's obviously telling him, oh, this, we shut down everything. And so, yeah, it's hard. I don't know. It must be growing something because they're farmers. So they must be doing, I don't know. I don't know enough about how drugs are made to know.
Well, I know, right? Well, it's okay. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead or not, but I'm just going to say it so I don't forget it. But I had talked about, I think in episode 1 or 2, whatever it was, that the finale was going to be named The Train or something like that. I thought we saw Spencer on the train, but I'm not really sure, because we also are going to the train station because George wants
Mhm.
to go to Reno. So I'm like, wait, is all of this going to collide? Are we going to see something? I just can't remember, though, if I saw Spencer on the train or not, though. Do you
Mm.
recall seeing
I
him?
don't recall seeing him, but that doesn't mean
Yeah.
it was pretty quick, so I could have missed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm making that up in my brain, but I see them on a train, but
Mhm.
it could be Joe looking
It
for
seems odd
Reynolds
that
and all of
Spencer
that.
would
Yeah.
travel by train, but I just but I don't know.
But then how is it going to tie? How is this all going to tie up with Bernadette? I mean, it could be two separate things. It could
Mhm.
be, but still something is happening here where they're at, because why would Halsey be there? Why would Halsey be there? And then they pick up and leave.
Mhm.
So something is happening. And why would Halsey have Bernadette's picture? So something is
Mhm.
definitely
Yeah,
happening
there's
here.
a
We just
connection
don't,
somehow, yeah.
we just don't know how
Mhm.
yet. And those yellow balls that I kept
Yeah.
saying, what are those yellow balls? What are those yellow balls? I saw them in one place, I saw them in another. And
Mhm.
finally, Bernadette talks about,
Yeah.
what those are used for
Mhm.
smuggling the drugs. So, what did you think of Bernadette and all of that?
Yeah, she discovers the truth about Ivan. She, and the drug smuggling. Then she's betrayed by her roommate,
Yeah.
and so she just has all this come at her, and this, like she pieces together what she's been trying to find. But then, she's betrayed by this love interest and her roommate, the two people she thought she could trust anyway, and
I
and
knew it. I knew
yeah,
that girl was
I
in
really
on it.
felt that. Yeah, like, and Ivan, I was always on the fence with him. I'm like, wow, that seems obvious that he would be, but at the same time, maybe no. But a roommate, I definitely was like, there's something's going on with her, because she was too accommodating. She was always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt like she was definitely in on whatever's going on with all of
Yeah.
them at the border patrol. But yeah, so yeah, Bernadette, I tell you, she's just got a mess going on now, because I don't know how she gets out of this. That's going to be a very interesting story to just watch unfold, and I'm sure it's going to be very, sitting on the edge of our seats, waiting, waiting to see what's going to happen with her.
I know. I think that's one of the biggest anticipations. I think because it kind of is starting to close in on what's
Mhm.
happening with Joe and what's happening with Washington and what's happening with Chi and everybody here. So that's starting, those pieces are starting to,
Mhm.
fill in just the last couple of pieces. But yeah, with Bernadette, yes, she's finding out more information, but how the heck is she going to get out of this when she's a solo person? It's like
Mhm.
she's all by herself. There's no one there backing her up.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, so it's exciting, interesting, wondering how she's going to get out of this, and she better get out of this before the season
Ivan,
ends.
he obviously does care about her, or he wouldn't have tried to get out of the situation. So I think he does truly care about her. So maybe he'll come to her rescue or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the closest person that I think
Yeah.
that would happen, unless that train is
Mm,
traveling. No,
that-
they're going to Reno, darn it.
yeah.
Too
Wrong
bad
way.
that,
Rats.
yeah. I'm trying to make that train travel to the right place
It
to
needs to go
get that
here.
help. Yeah.
Maybe the tracks get switched.
They get on the wrong train
Yeah.
and it's heading in a different
Everybody gets on the
direction.
wrong train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I skipped ahead to Bernadette, but I did want to go back to what we were talking about with Dr. Reynolds. When we saw those flashbacks
Mhm.
and we saw the kids, what the kids were doing, and then him chasing, I call them kids, they're teens, but still, he's chasing them. And to hear him and see him like lift his hand and like slash at the kid, that hurt me.
I know that was brutal. George just sitting there in the wings, hearing his
Yes.
friend being, killed and everything. Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I'm like, okay, you showed us way too much. And how is it so easy for this guy to do that? Some people,
Mhm.
some people, I just don't know how you can do that with a young person.
Yeah.
I know he was scared, but
Mhm. Yeah.
sorry.
I think it's just because he's, knows he's losing everything. If he does, you know what I mean? Like it comes down to that. He's like, if doesn't get proven, he's losing everything, his grant money and everything, all of his livelihood. And so it's probably just desperation at that point. And
Yeah,
he saw
but
that that's how that was the choice he thought he had to make, I guess. But I
I
don't know how
still
to do that.
I still think it's interesting that Teddy, I mean, she seems innocent and
Mhm.
all, but at the same time, she said, "Oh, but he was with me." And then they say, "Oh, but it's a
Mhm.
4-hour round trip drive to Flagstaff or wherever she
Mhm.
says." And she's like, "Oh, okay." So, but then why was she so upset and drove off when that happened that we talked about? I just feel like that was an interesting,
Well, maybe she
uh,
suspected something, but didn't. I guess she didn't really act like it, though. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he had done something that made her think, "Oh no, maybe he did do something to
yeah.
to Ernesto."
But if that's the case, I feel like they would have highlighted that she
Mhm.
felt that way.
Yeah.
And again, it's not that I think she's guilty of anything, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if we learned
Mhm.
something more. If there's another piece of that maybe that
Mhm.
we're not sure of. Because I just find it interesting that they showed her being upset. She got in her car and she took off, and they showed Joe looking at her. Why
Mhm.
highlight that scene if it's not going to come back into play?
Mhm.
There's just some interesting things there. Same thing with Halsey.
Mhm.
Why were they there, and what were they doing there?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's just a few more pieces that we need to figure out. But what I love is that we had still some surprises in this episode that we weren't anticipating, and so we never know. We don't know. Like
Yeah.
this next episode, we may be shocked at what we
Mhm.
learn.
Yeah.
So, it's exciting. It's such a well-written show, and
Mhm.
it's very exciting. All right. So, in saying that, the characters and the themes that we saw, because there were a lot of moments in here between different people.
Mhm.
Did anything with the characters stand out, or were there any themes?
One thing that really stood out more this episode to me, because we saw more of them together, was just Joe and Chi, that mutual respect they have, that unquestionable trust with the other. It's like he knew when Joe said, when he made that call, he knew he was desperate and he knew he had to act quick, and which that's what Chee does. He just springs into action and does things. And so I just really love to see that built more this, in this episode, because we haven't seen a lot of this season. And so it's just a good reminder that they are a good team together. And despite their kind of rocky start in the season 1, and how things were, they've really come to that mutual respect, and they just work so well together because they both have different strengths. And so it's, they play off each other that way as well. So I just really enjoyed that in this episode, to see more of the two of them together.
I had that down also. A solid bond of trust. She doesn't hesitate to write in and help Joe, and they balance each other out, just like you had said. And because Chee is a little more action oriented, and Joe has more insight and gut, following his gut and feeling things. Although I do want to say one thing at the very beginning, when Chee was chasing the hooded man, I'm like, Chee, why did you take a moment to take your rifle from aiming at him and put it on your back? Because at that point, that's when he turns around to shoot at him. I'm like, you could have got him. And then when he's driving off, I'm like, shoot the tires, shoot the tires. Did he shoot the tires? He did not shoot the tires. I'm like, oh, Chee,
come on.
You should have shot the tires. Then he wouldn't have gotten away. But man, Chee was hanging on for dear life. And I thought, whoa, he could have like rolled under the car and got ran over.
Yeah, that was he was very lucky there.
So action for sure when it comes to Chee.
And of course we have to talk about Emma, because she's so admirable for how she's handling everything. And I love that even no matter what situation she's in, she always remains kind. She may get a little quip in there and say a little, something, but it's never like, I don't know, it's never really that snarky. It's just in her same kind of tone and things. She says these things, about, that's your theory, but do you have the proof, or however she said that. But she's just matter of fact about it. She's not she's just asking the question. And I mean, she knows the answer, because they would have arrested him if they knew. So, but I just love how she has that strength to do what's right, or what she feels is right. And really hard to see their relationship, which has been built up to be such a great relationship, to see it in shambles like this. It's heartbreaking to see that, because we've seen so many moments of them together and just how good they are together. And this is really, I mean, it's really affecting them. Obviously she's leaving and everything, and she was so broken when she shared her heart with Washington, when they're leading you to think she's gonna tell the truth about where Joe wasn't with her, and she doesn't. And it's just one of those things where I think she realized, and said even this, that Washington doesn't really care about them. DC people, they don't care about them. And it goes back to that white justice, Navajo justice. And so I think Emma, she has done such a great job this season. It's been fun to see her, to shine more in this season, because she does a great job, and she's just really fascinating, and I've really enjoyed that. So I had to bring her up.
Absolutely. I was feeling the same way. I felt her pain that she had when she talked about the grief of losing her son, and she tells Washington, I was blaming you. But then I realized it wasn't you. It was the feelings that I was having. And just, I love how she walked herself through it, of how she was feeling. It was so well done. You're right. She's such an awesome actress, portraying this role. Her relationship with Joe, it's so fractured, but it is still filled with mutual respect. And that's what I really admire about both of them. And when he keeps trying to talk to her, because he doesn't want to invade her space, but at the same time, he wants to know what's happening. And so he goes out, and he can tell she's leaving now. She's taken off. And he keeps trying to talk to her, but he's not pushing it, but he's trying to see if she will, allow him to have a conversation with her. And she just doesn't. And then I'm like, come on, Emma, just talk to him, But then, once she's driving off and she is crying while looking at him in that rear view mirror, And I felt it from her. I
Mhm.
felt it
Yep.
because you felt, I mean, first, again, you could be a little bit irritated. Come on, give Joe a chance. But no, you see it from her perspective and you know she's in pain. It's hard for her. So that shows that she has the strength about her that she
Mhm.
has to do this. She
Mhm.
has to do this for herself. And I think at the same time, while she's helping herself, she is helping Joe
Mhm.
because Joe is recognizing what his choices have been. And okay, wait, I want to first say that song when she was driving off was Crossroads Sweet Melissa by Greg Allman.
Mhm.
Oh, it gave me such a 70s vibe. I loved it. And that added to the whole heart,
Yeah.
tugging at your heartstrings. But I also wanted to say about Joe is that I really love the conversation that he had with Gordo
Mhm.
because he was like taking responsibility for himself. He wasn't blaming anybody else. He says, no, she's not going to come for me, and as well she shouldn't
Mhm.
after what I've done. She's figuring out her way. I have to figure out mine and making this correct.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, oh, taking accountability. There's that theme of accountability, and that goes a long way. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was just all these relationships are just so great to see. So
Mhm.
yes, Emma is amazing. And I did, oh, and like you had mentioned about her talking about people coming here to not caring about Navajos at all and coming to the land. But when you have a crime that you want to solve and put a notch in your belt or whatever it is, you're here to
Yeah.
do it, but it's for you. It's for you. It's not for
Mhm.
the rest of us. So yeah,
Yeah.
powerful for sure.
Go back to Bernadette. She's always following her gut, but it's obviously can lead her to harm. And she's pieced all this stuff together, but she's the only one. Like we've said, she's alone. I mean, everybody else kind of knows what's been going on. Whether they know the details, they know there's stuff, illegal activity going on. And so now here she is. She's got all of her pieces together. She's put it together for the most part. And now she's captured by Budge. And we know what he does with people that he just, what was, I think Spencer said he doesn't have any feelings. and, that's
Yeah.
been proven several times. So, I think I've said this almost every episode we've done of the podcast here that I've been worried about her and what's
Yeah.
going to happen to her because she is, alone and she's digging into things people don't want her to be digging into, but that's just how she is. So I just feel like she's very smart and she knows how to, to work these cases. But on the other hand, she's smart enough that, I mean, some of the choices are like, okay, you shouldn't be doing this stuff. So, because she's smart, but it's just how it had to play out. And she had nobody on her side, or when she did, or she thought she did, but
Yeah.
obviously didn't. And so now she's in a in a bad way, and it'll be interesting to see. I still, like I said, I want to see her safe.
I do love her independence
Mhm.
and she has such a strength and she has great instincts, except
Yeah.
for I know she was wrong about this one person, but when you got to trust somebody sometimes,
Mhm.
right? And so she was thinking here, I have this roommate, I think I can trust them. But I still think she has good instincts, even though this one didn't play out as she had hoped. But I was just thinking as you were talking that we keep thinking someone has to come save her, but she's a smart woman.
Mhm.
Maybe she's going to get out of this herself. Maybe she's going to see a way out. She's has been in the military. Maybe
Yeah.
she'll use
Mhm.
some of that knowledge to help her, so, and the fact that she's not afraid, I mean,
Mhm.
of course she's probably fearful for her life, but well, she is fearful of Navajo making sure your medicine is good and all that, but she's not afraid of people
Mhm.
so much. So, we have to give her credit because she's a pretty strong, independent woman. So,
Mhm.
Bernadette, we're here for you. We got you. We know you can somehow get yourself out of this. So hopefully, I think she will. I think there
Yeah.
will be some way.
I'm
As far as themes, we already talked about loyalty and
Mhm.
and betrayal with those because we saw loyalty between Emma and Joe. And despite her being so hurt, I think, did we already say this? I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but we knew she wasn't going to give Joe up. We just knew that she wouldn't. And so it was good because I was kind of like, she's not going to do it, right? She's going to have his back, right? Because when she asked her point blank, and I'm like, oh my God. But she said, no, he was with me the whole night. Oh my God. Thank you for saying that. But and then Bernadette, her betrayal from people that she trusts here. So it really makes you wonder when this is all tied up and when she gets away, what is going to be her next move? Are all these people going to be arrested, and is she going to become the leader or in charge, or is she going to head back and say, you know what, this is
garbage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. What other thoughts, any other theories, takeaways that you had from the episode?
My main one is just like watching Joe and Chee and Emma and Bernadette and these journeys they've been on this season. They've all experienced growth. There's been a lot of heartache. There's been and then all the themes we mentioned, betrayal and loyalty, just all the, it's just been such a, kind of a roller coaster of the things that they've all had to go through this season. And it's been fun to watch it all play out, even though I wanted answers sooner than I got some of them. And I'm still waiting on some, but overall, it's just been really interesting to see all the journeys that just everything that they've experienced this season, and good or bad. There were a lot of bad things that happened, but hopefully some good comes out of some of these things, because we don't want to end on a, really depressing note. But yeah, just overall, just the growth of all of them, just the things that they've gone through this season.
I don't want it to end.
Yeah. We're not ready.
Not ready. I think I was going to say this earlier about when you had brought up Joe and Chee and how well they work together. And I was going to say, when I saw Chee riding on that horse and all of that and going through the terrain, I thought, these are what the books are probably about, reading about all the adventures of these two men and what they're doing. So I felt like we were getting a piece of the book, whether we are or not. I still yet to read it. I hope I will. I really do. It really is in the back of my brain to take a look at the books just to see if I'm interested in them. I don't know how they're written. Sometimes I have to read a first page or a couple pages to see if this is my type of book. But just from watching the show, I think that I would really enjoy it. So hopefully, but yeah, so it was just watching that bond between these two guys was just a big highlight in seeing that. And now they're headed to the train station to see what is next. And I think that that's going to be revealing and whatever that is. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the next episode for that. And then who is on Bernadette's side? Who is going to help her in some way? Oh, you know what? I have a question for you. At the end, when she opens that door and she sees that worker, and then she sees that he's with the woman and the child that she had earlier saved. Okay, hold that thought. Okay, my mind was thinking, oh, maybe somehow they will help her in a way that they don't realize that they're helping her. Like maybe they'll cause a distraction or something. So I forgot about those people because she did help them. So maybe. But the other thing is, so is there human trafficking, or is it just that these are his family and they're all...
Because when he brought him there to lock him in, he gave him food, he gave him I don't know what else he gave him.
Who locked him in there? I can't remember. Who
Budge
locked him
did. Budge put him in there. Like he handed him to give him water. I don't remember what he gave him first. Then he gave him like a bag of vegetables or something. It looked like one of those vegetable or fruit bags or something. And so I wonder if it's just like, oh, your shift's done, so we're throwing you in here because you're a worker. Because he locked him in. I don't, or I guess I thought he locked him in, but
he did, because she opened it. She opened it with a tool. She got a tool and she broke the lock off.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just felt like they were a worker that I guess they keep him locked up so they doesn't run off at night or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it was strange. But also like it does make sense then that they would help. Yeah, maybe they will be the ones to do something, like you said.
Yeah. But also what I was going to bring up was that my DVR chopped off right when the bag went over Bernadette's head. So did anything else happen after
but like I didn't know if you saw that it was budged. So
Yes.
because if that's all it was, then it was over. Yeah.
But then it's all boop. I'm like,
no. No, I didn't. That's where mine ended too. So I hope, yeah.
But I didn't even get to see. Normally, I get to see the previews. For all of that. Like there was nothing. Like it was.
I saw the preview. Okay.
Yeah, nothing. Like it ended and it went black, and we were like, "What?" Because at least if that was the end, we would have seen the end credits or then the previews and all of that. We didn't get to see any of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope we didn't miss anything.
Yeah,
so,
no, that was it. It was so quick that it was like, I wondered if some people didn't, pay, if you missed it, you might not have noticed that that's who, that was budged to put the bag on her head.
No, so. I saw that. I did see that it was him. So,
because it was pretty quick.
Yeah. 2 more things I wanted to bring up. One is that the Border Patrol head guy, I can't remember his title right now.
Yeah.
But he says to Ivan, did you drink the Kool-Aid?
And
it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Drink the Kool-Aid happens later on in the 70s. So it's funny.
I caught that too. And I thought, wait a minute, what year are we in? This isn't quite right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and fun fact that they didn't drink Kool-Aid. It was Flavor-Aid that they actually drink. So I always think that's hilarious because we're never saying that. We're always going to say drink the Kool-Aid.
We definitely. I don't even remember Flavor-Aid. I mean, as far as I remember, it was Kool-Aid. So who knows? And the other thing, I talked about one of the songs earlier, and I do want to bring up, while Bernadette and the patrol agent were driving in, and then they went with their guns, throughout the looking for who might be there. It was Led Zeppelin's Gallows Pole. And just the music in this, take me back to the 70s. It's so good. So great songs, great music, and even just their regular score that they have in here is just so good. So I love it all. All right. So now let's get to our question of the day. And I'll have to get to it. I lost it. Okay. Our question of the day is, what's your bold prediction for the finale?
Mine's kind of bold and funny at the same time. So I think that Chee is going to continue his hero theme. He's going to ride his horse to rescue Bern. He's going to kill Budge, and then they're going to ride off in the sunset together.
I love it. That's pretty good.
It had to be kind of, because I kept thinking about how theatrical that was of him riding that horse, and so that's what I imagined, him coming in and saving her, so. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. All right. Well, mine is just pertaining to Bernadette. And I still think that Ivan is going to help her in some way and that he's going to die. That's what I think is going to happen. I wish I had some bolder idea to happen. Washington, she's probably going to have to close her case because she has nothing to go on.
Yeah, she's
going to have to. Yeah. All right. Well, we have so much to talk about next week. I cannot wait. But friends out there, what do you think? Do you have a bold prediction for the season finale? We want to know. You can leave us a comment wherever you're watching or listening. You can get to all of our social media at screensinfocus.com. You can also call us if you want to call us at 669-223-8542. Also, if you don't want to answer the question of the day, but you just want to say something about this episode, we'd love to hear from you. All right. Come back for episode 8, the finale, because we can't wait to break it down with you. We're heading into our TV and movie recommendations, so I'm excited. Renee, what do you have?
All right. So, TV shows. I watched North of North on Netflix. Have you watched this one?
No, I have not.
So it was like one of the top TV shows, and I saw a couple of things in the news about it and different things. And I'm thinking, I gotta check this out. And it's such a cute show. So it's set in this Arctic community of Ice Cove. And so it's basically just this young mother, and she just dreams of becoming more. And it's this whole, just tiny little community. Everybody knows everybody. Some newcomers come in and she finds out some things about her family and this and that. And her daughter, the little girl who plays her daughter, is so funny. And yeah, it's just it's really fun and really cute. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, I like it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So have to check that one out. That's on Netflix. And then I think you watched this one also, The Bondsman with Kevin Bacon, and it was so good. It was over the top. It was kind of gory, kind of, funny and everything else. So he basically is a bounty hunter who was killed, died, goes to hell, and then Satan sends him back to start rounding up the demons that have escaped.
Yes, perfect.
And it was very well done, and it just kept you excited. Okay, I watch what happens next and everything. So what do you think of it?
I loved it. Loved it. My husband watched it with me.
Uh-huh.
It was just really good. And it's funny because it reminded me, not like it's like it, but it reminded me of the Grimm in a way, just because the family becomes involved and you're hunting down demons or something like that. So that's what it reminded me of. So I enjoyed it. Man, Kevin Bacon, I think he's 66 and he looks so good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What that guy's eating and his exercise routine, but yeah, it's working for him.
Yeah, I just like the whole cast. Jennifer Nettles is in this also, and I haven't seen her act before. I don't know if she's had other roles, but she was in Sugarland. And I just think I've always thought she had an amazing voice, and just she sings in here, and I just think she's so good. And I was telling my husband, and he's all, no wonder she can sing so good. I was wondering because a lot of times you're an actor who can also sing, but here she started off as a singer and now she's an actor. So it was fun to see her too. And I think she plays the wife really well. And so I'm enjoying the other cast. So
yeah, it was a great cast. So that was a really fun one. And then I watched a couple movies. I finally got to watch The Complete Unknown. We didn't get to the movie theater to see it and everything. Yeah, it was so good. It was just, I really enjoyed it. And I always love music, like biopics and things like music ones. And it's just fun to learn more about these people that we've listened to for years. And so, yeah, I thought it was very well done and I liked it a lot. So, and then I watched The Life List and on Netflix, and it was a young woman her mother sends her on a mission to complete her teenage bucket list. And she does, starts going through this list and she learns some family secrets. She finds romance and kind of finds herself. And I, kind of feel that was the whole point of what her mother gave her, the reason her mother gave that list to her. So yeah, it was very good. And then this one's from 2021 and it's called The Hating Game. Did you ever see this one?
I don't think so.
It was based on a book. It's on Netflix also, based on a book. And so there's this gal, Lucy, and she's a young woman and she's very professional working in this publisher. She's like an executive assistant at this publisher. And she has this rivalry with this coworker who they both then start going after the same job. They have the new position. And so they start to, do all this kind of one-upmanship kind of thing. And they do all these things, but then it gets complicated because then she starts becoming attracted to him amidst all this. And so it just adds to her. Yeah, of course. But yeah, it was really good. I like that one a lot also. Nice, easy watch. And it wasn't, just kind of relaxing, just, no breeder kind of thing to watch. But I really liked it. It was good.
Yeah. So. I love it when you can find a good show or movie. So thank you for all of those. And I saw The Life List and it was really good. And I cried at the beginning and the end. Sorry, I did. Not like bawling, but I got all teary-eyed. And I love it that's when I know, that's my barometer. It's like, this is a good movie. I like it. It's good. And of course, I saw The Complete Unknown, and that was really good too. So yeah, you have some great ones. So I'll have to check those out. So I saw Ransom Canyon on Netflix. And when I first put it on, it really wasn't something that I thought I wanted to watch. But I don't know why I kept pressing play every single episode. I binged it all. I saw a bunch of people liked it. Now, I'm going to say it was a cross between, and it's funny, I came up with this before I saw other people, but apparently everybody else thought the same thing. It's a cross between Virgin River and Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm.
I felt Virgin River hard in this because it just has that feel of a Netflix series set in a place. The only reason it felt like Yellowstone was because it was regarding ranch and
Mm-hmm.
the power of your property and other people trying to buy it and doing everything they can to take it from you. But it had all the drama of like Virgin River and more of like a soap opera-y ranchish life. So it's even when something kind of devastating happened, it's lightened because of the way that it is. So it's not like, I wouldn't say, it's interesting because I binged it and now I can't wait to watch the next season. But in saying that, it wasn't also like my favorite. Like I thought, oh, this is cheesy. Oh my God, why are they doing that? And like, why are you saying that? So it was very predictable. So
Yeah.
just know that going in. If you know that going in and then you watch it, then fine. You'll be on the same wavelength as me. The other thing, I've talked about The Studio, which is on Apple
Yeah.
Plus TV, but each episode, I keep thinking, oh, I'll watch it again. And I do. And every episode is written so well, acted so well, and it's so funny. It's funny. So if you like Seth Rogen and you like smart comedy, then you will enjoy this. So tune into that. It's very funny. I forgot to mention Handmaid's Tale last week, and I have been a fan of Handmaid's Tale. I've covered it on the podcast previous seasons, so I can't believe why I didn't mention this. But Elizabeth Moss is back, and yeah, we're on the season series finale here, so I'm on it. I'm enjoying that. Another TV show that just started and is called The Rehearsal. It's with Nathan Fielder and it's on Max. And it's funny, these are not my favorite. I like him. I do, but it's because of my son and his girlfriend. They watch him all the time and they insist I watch him with them. So that's what we did last night. And I just shake my head because it's that whole awkward comedy and breaking the fourth wall. And it's pretty good for what that is, for that type of comedy and that type of show and that the comedian that he is. So if you like Nathan Fielder, then The Rehearsal is out. Now for movies, actually I just watched one big movie, Sinners. I went this weekend. It's Michael B. Jordan plays twins. Ryan Coogler directs. Those two have been in a dynamite duo of making all these films together. It's one of a kind. It is genre bending. It is really well acted. Haley Steinfeld, Delroy Lindo, and unfortunately, I'm so sorry. I can't remember the other actress's name, and she's phenomenal in it. Phenomenal. Everybody in here is really, really good. And it has to do with music and just passion. And it's set in the 30s and but it does deal with vampires. So know that it has to do with, you haven't watched this. Have you seen this yet?
Not yet, but I've read a lot about it. I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah. So it's one of a kind, which I really enjoyed. And I thought it was really well done. So very good. So that's what I've seen. And also we happen to have The Accountant on again. And I know the second one is coming out soon. So it was nice to revisit the first one. I thought, man, this is such a great movie.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten how good it was. So, and John Bernthal is in it. So it was great to see him in this too. So those are our recommendations. That's what I'm so excited about. Wait, one more thing, and I'm not going to spoil anything because Renee still has to catch up, but The Last of Us season 2 is currently playing. Without saying too much, a lot is happening and it's good. That's all I can say.
I'll get caught up for next week and then you can say
yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So excited about everything that is out currently.
Mhm.
It's been really, really good. Really good movies, really good TV shows. All right. That's a wrap of our Dark Winds penultimate episode and our TV and movie recommendations. I have to thank Renee for being here today. Thank you, Renee, so much for being here.
Thanks for asking me. I always love it.
I love that you're here. So thank you again. All right, friends out there, thank you for tuning in. We are so happy that you're here. We hope that we gave you a chuckle, some insight, something to think about. Please subscribe to our podcast at screensinfocus.com. And remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.